Hello world, Qapla, it's Birdo5. It is Sinema Saturday, aka Star Trek Saturday, for Saturday, September, Saturday, February 15th, 2020, and today we are going to watch Star Trek 2009, the first movie created under the alternate, Bad Robot license, where the 25% different, but possibly 25% different universe was created. At the time, I remember hating the very idea of this movie. I was going to the official Star Trek 2009 web forum and mercilessly attacking them every day for weeks and weeks before this movie came out. When we heard that Vulcan was going to be destroyed, I was like, you are pissing on the legacy that is Star Trek. I was totally angry, but I must give them credit. They did not ban me. I didn't use profanity. I didn't attack people. I attacked ideas. And to their credit, they did not ban me. I certainly wasn't their favorite person, but they let me say what I wanted to say. And then I saw the movie, and I apologized. It really wasn't as bad as I thought it was. In fact, I kind of liked it. Okay, it was a separate timeline. It didn't really hurt the Trek timeline, or so I had thought at the time. And I was like, you know what? I can live with this. Like Captain Sisko at the end of In the Pale Moonlight. I can live with it. Or so I had thought. But I was not thinking that, hey, they just destroyed Romulus, and if we ever return to the real timeline, which I had always hoped we would, those repercussions were to come home to roost. And roost they have. As of 4 weeks ago with Star Trek Picard, we finally got to see the results of that. And even Star Trek Picard, they refused to accept what they said in Star Trek 2009. They had to retcon what happened. Now it's not the Hobus star. It's the actual Romulan sun that apparently went nova. And it wasn't going to destroy the entire galaxy. It was only Romulan space that was really threatened. And so many other changes. We haven't even seen all the changes yet, but we've only heard of some of them. Because that reporter didn't say the entire galaxy was at risk. She said, oh, Romulan lives. 900 million Romulan lives, which is, not even, there were 7 billion people on Earth right now. To say only 900 million Romulan lives were ever in danger, or were in danger, it really, I'm going to say, okay, 900 billion is a hell of a lot of people to lose, but it's hardly a catastrophe. It seems like it was being made out to be, especially in the Star Trek 2009 comic, which I did read going into this. So, yeah, that is where we are. But hey, we're going through all the Star Trek movies. So this week, 2009, next week, Into Darkness, and the week after, Star Trek Beyond. And then we're done. There are no more Star Trek movies, at least no official movies. There's always the possibility of a fan movie or two, but I really don't know if we'll go that far. Some of the fan movies, even the better ones, they're hard to get through. So that's where we are. And for those who were at my stream last night, my Valentine's Day stream, I rewatched the opening monologue bit I did, and I apologize. I was quite angry. Sorry you guys had to hear that. But today is a new day. So Joseph Patrick Early says, will you... Oh, excuse me. Carlo jumps in with a super chat, a 10-pound sterling super chat. Hail Karoga, sending good thoughts to our Bird O'Prey, Mom O'Prey, Sister O'Prey, and Sassy O'Prey. Thanks for all you do. Plus, Sunday. The longer you wait, the older it gets. Thank you. Carlo, Mom O'Prey says thank you for the good thoughts. I say thank you for the good thoughts and the super chat. Very, very appreciated. We'll have to see. We'll have to see about Sunday. Joseph says, will you engage the warp speed or sleep the stream today? I think I'll be engaged. I do. And that's not to say that I think 2009 is a better movie than Airplane 2, but I got good sleep last night. I really did. Which I had not gotten in several days, so I hope to be up. Actress's bird conducting that stream was like me playing Euro Truck Simulator 2 for more than 2 hours straight, only that bird awakened in his bed, and I with my face full of keyboard imprints and saliva. I actually have American Truck Simulator, and oh my god, it was only $5 at the time. I was like, what? I paid $4.99 too much. And I crashed. 47 Yorktown says, wake up, sleepyhead. I'm up. I'm awake. I'm awake and I am raring to go. Cinnabon Bunny says, hello, welcome, Cinnabon Bunny. And he says, yay, yes, we've started. 47 Yorktown says, hello, young sir. Thank you, 47 Yorktown. Thomas Potts says, hi, Thomas Potts, who's admitted to attending Star Trek conventions, buck naked. Carlo Albany says, hi, I hope you are well. Thank you, Carlo. Hector says, Sir Baldhead of the Square Bed. Dan23 says, hi, welcome, Dan. Alexander Brooks says, hello, welcome, Alexander Brooks. Resolute Germ says, hi, everyone, welcome, Resolute. Number one sci-fi says, Spock! Yells Nero. Oh, I guess I said Spock the wrong way. Actor says, I searched and there's no Star Trek 09 quotes are worth mentioning. We'll see. Richie Poole says, is it Kristen Sinema Saturday? It's Kristen Sinema Saturday. Yes, the senator from Arizona, apparently. Thomas is September. It's only August. Okay, the Potts calendar. The Continuum says, good evening all. Qapla the Continuum. Actor says, do you know how ridiculous hiding a spaceship is in the bottom of the ocean? Scotty. Well, that's next week, I believe. Resolute Germ says, this movie still sucks. Actor says, emotional first 10 minutes, though. Joseph Patrick is here. Welcome, Joseph. Thomas Potts says, it was 2009. You were allowed to criticize back then. Yes, that's true. And they listened. And you know, that is the thing. I criticized and they listened. And then when I gave my apology after seeing it, they thanked me. And they said, you know what? Seeing you change your mind made putting up with all of the shit I was giving them all the more worth it. Because now they felt like they got a they won me over. They had won me over, and that really, you know, they cared. They cared. They didn't just say this, you know, he's ungrateful, right-wing, you know, bastard. We don't want him watching our movie anyway. They cared. They were happy that they had won me over. They took it, and they, you know, for whoever it was that was manning that forum, I mean, I'm sure it wasn't J.J. Abrams, but whoever he hired or you know, that bad robot hired to monitor for him, they gave a shit. They cared. The fact that they were, you know, they were able to get some people who were against the movie to change their mind. They didn't make me feel bad. They didn't try to attack me in any way. So it was just different then. Even the people, especially, you know what? Thomas is exactly right. You were allowed to criticize without being called names. Dan23 says, it was fun. Andreas T says, all hail Galron. Yes, Galron indeed. Actor says, and they destroy Vulcan. Yeah, they do destroy Vulcan. Spoiler alert. Actor says, son of a bitches. The Continuum says, 2009 track is the best track. I don't know, Continuum track. That might be a little. I'll be honest. No, I can't agree with that at all. It's the best of perhaps the JJ tracks, but the best track, you mean behind Star Trek 6, 4, and 2? Not even close. But listen, obviously, people have different opinions. Actor says, no, not really. I would agree. Continuum says, lol, I don't know. Did not interrupt my trolling. Oh, okay. Trolling. Well then. Always up for a good troll. Hector lols, and Carlo put in his very generous super chat. Thank you again, Carlo. Hector says, the last sentence is true. The longer you wait, the older it gets. Vile Mike says, howdy folks, welcome Vile. Thomas Potts says, Bird of Prey. We heard you go on a swearing rant before. It didn't bother us. Well, I don't know. Some of you people might have been upset at the graphic description of holding baby Cupid. And then, anyway, I don't want to get back into it again. Yeah, Mama Pray, you missed it. Kronos is Qapla, Bird will pray, Mom will pray, Nerds will pray, Sassy will pray, Alpacas will pray, Minions will pray, and Sis will pray. What did I miss? Not a hell of a lot, Kronos. Qapla, welcome. Welcome to Star Trek Saturday. We will be watching Star Trek 2009. And Dan says, so this movie is 11 years old. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. And if any of you guys have your copy and you want to watch with us or with me, I'm currently paused at 19 seconds in where you see the Paramount logo. So get your movie queued up to this point, and then when we count down to hit play, we'll all hit play from 19 seconds in where it's paused. Let's see. Zabe, welcome, Zabe. Zabe Denton. JJ Trek, death to Karoga. I understand. This is not everyone's cup of tea. Actress says the turds Kronos. Kronos says, oh, and turds oh prey. Yes, they get a welcome too. Number 1, sci-fi says, bird of prey. Next time you fall asleep, can you state that if it was because of the slipstream? The slipstream made me fall asleep? I mean, I could state it. I don't know that it would be true. Zabe says, lol, exactly the same with me. I bought American Truck Simulator on sale and thought I wasted my money after looking at ETS. Thomas Spot says, the thing one hate about JJ Track is how the interior of the ships are. Yeah, but I just didn't care. I was, okay, they redid the Enterprise. It's not the same Enterprise. They built it differently. I mean, the Enterprise is supposed to be different. See, I didn't mind the Enterprise being different because the Enterprise, was directly related to the change in the timeline because of what happened 20 years earlier or whatever, when when George Kirk first met Nero. So that didn't bother me, the fact that the Enterprise was completely different. Not complete, but noticeably different. What does bother me is things that shouldn't have been affected, things that were more than 20 years in the making. Those should not have been terribly affected by the change in the timeline, but they seem to have been. Stories by Irish says, lol, love the jar in a head. Thank you, Stories by Irish. That was created by, what's his name? It's right at the tip of my tongue. Acid Designs. Acid Designs used to come to Anti-Tracker Stream all the times. He's still on YouTube at Acid Designs, but unfortunately, I saw somebody ask him the other day if he would still up to making graphics for YouTubers, and he says at this time he wasn't able to take on any new projects. But I must thank Acid Designs. He created the head in a jar for me. I've got a happy face, there's an angry face, and a neutral face. And then because I couldn't get him, I made my own edit to try and make a sad face out of the angry face. I think I did a halfway decent job, but he's the one who really made him. So I was just editing it best I could, trying to make a sad expression. But yeah, thank you, Stories by Iris. Acid Design gets all that credit. Actor says, but there's plenty of space. It's airy and spacious, and brewery. Kronos says, actor, I'm learning, oh great accented one. Thomas says, I didn't like that. Alexander Brooks says, I like Star Trek 4. I would hope everybody likes Star Trek 4. Zabe says, and Beyond is the best of JJ Track. Zabe, I would have to disagree, but listen, if you like it the best, that's fine. It would actually, Beyond is my least favorite of the JJ Tracks. Actor says, congratulations to Kronos. Zabe says, accept the stupid ending. Well, the ending is kind of a big deal. Carlos says, this is the best JJ Track. It was a fun film, but not Star Trek. I would agree. Candace Green says, Bird of Prey, Die Hard, 2009. Was there a Die Hard 2009? Or just this is Die Hard 2009? I know that the last Die Hard, the one that took place in Russia, was not my favorite. I think Die Hard peaked at Die Hard 3, with Samuel Jackson. Die Hards 1, 2, and 3 are a great trilogy. After that, they started getting a little rough. Thomas says, Kronos, where have you been? Candace Green says, injecting a planet with red matter, really? Yeah, I mean, why did they have to put it in the center of the planet? Couldn't they just sprinkle it on the planet? I mean, if it's just going to collapse the planet, what does it matter whether the collapse starts from the core or from the outside? But minor details. Things will come up as we watch. Dan23 puts in some type of freaky smiley face. I can't tell what it is. Carlos's ugly ship past the neck, but the primary hull looks good. I think the problem with this ship is the warp nacelles. The warp nacelles ruin the entire thing for me. Kronos is Thomas. Oh, here we go. Lots of lurking. Captain Trek says, hello, welcome. Candace says it was the worst Star Wars I caught 40 minutes of. It was the worst Star Wars I caught 40 minutes of. Kronos is old. I'm sorry, Kronos. Agner says, I had paused at the exact same place. Witchery. Witchery, indeed. Well, Hector, if you notice, all the times I played Star Trek, where this is now the 11th Star Trek film we've watched, it's always about 18 to 19 seconds where the Paramount logo comes in. So I think that's about right. Resolute says, I really enjoyed your Cupid rant. I'd do worse to the little son of a bitch. Thank you, Resolute. And for those who didn't catch it but are interested, it's like literally right after the countdown intro starts from my live stream yesterday, if you're so interested in hearing it. Kronos is Bird of Prey. Which Q are you referring? Star Trek or the Bond Q? Well, I didn't think I mentioned Q at all, but if I mentioned Q, it would be the Star Trek Q. I don't even... I mean, I realize, yeah, there's Q in Bond, but until you mentioned that, didn't cross my mind that there was a Q in Bonds. Captain Trax says, Kronos, I am too. Dan23 says, USS Kelvin ejects its reactors or warp core, and they don't seem to take out the entire Romulan ship. I hate that. Yeah, that ship was way, way, way overpowered. It shouldn't have existed, even with Borg technology that they claim they were experimenting with in the comic book. Joseph says, making myself dinner so I do not starve. Very cool, Joseph, because we don't want anyone to literally starve to death during this stream. Candace says, I will leave when the movie begins. It's like watching Butcher at work. Oh, I'm sorry, Candace. Peter Quinn says, I do have the 2009 Future Begins. I do have 2009, The Future Begins. Okay. Kronos says, Joseph, that would be wise. Epic says, yes, Joseph, please eat. Peter Quinn says, I haven't even opened it yet, Bird of Prey. Gotcha. Number one sci-fi says, Bird of Prey, JJ, lens flare for all. Oh, lens flare for the fail. Yeah, well, you know, I'll be honest. It didn't bother me in this one movie. Dan23 says USS Calvin has a hand phaser, but it might not be noticeable in the film much. I've seen pictures and it's ugly. Actor says Kronos for all those that still haven't ascended to a century. Mr. Londell says Qapla, Mr. Londell. Alexander says, Joseph, where are you? It's 10:17 for him. And Alexander Brooks just had breakfast. Good for you, Alexander. Good for you. Kronos, breakfast is my favorite meal of the day. Kronos is Hector. I'm so lazy. I know, and knowing is half the battle. Wow. Oh, I'm so lazy. No, it doesn't say I. Kronos is Hector. So lazy. Now I know, and knowing is half the battle. Peter Quinn says, and hi all. Welcome, Peter Quinn. Daniel's Hot Topics is Bird of Prey. Good day, Bird of Prey. How are you today? I hear that we must revisit the Kelvin universe in Picard. That we may revisit the Kelvin universe in Picard. I haven't heard that. I heard we may see Spock in Picard, which is upsetting. Because if we see Spock, he should be the Leonard Nimoy Spock. And I really not happy with recasting another older person to be an older Leonard Nimoy. I can live with the recast of Leonard Nimoy because they're young. I don't know that I'd be comfortable with recasting old Leonard Nimoy. Dan23 says USS Calvin has 25 shuttles or something you see launched after the destruction. Well, if they're shuttles, that's a problem. I thought they were escape pods. Now, granted, we don't usually see escape pods too often, but I can understand, they're like, think of like a cruise ship, and you see all those, what are those called? The lifeboats. The lifeboats they carry on the side. So escape pods are just like lifeboats, but they're carried inside the ship. Kronos' Bird of Prey, does Garfield have to be there for the movies? I don't know. So I was gonna leave him there because I'd rather leave him there and not get a content match than risk taking him away and getting the content match. I hope he doesn't, let's face it. I don't think he's gonna, get in the way of anything that you're not going to be able to tell what's going on because Garfield is there. Actor says folding shuttles as pizza boxes has its advantages. Wow, we still have a lot of comments. Okay, I'm going to have to just start skipping some. Actor says Garfield is a little intrusive today. Really? Garfield's a little intrusive? Okay, you know what? If you guys really don't want the Garfield, we will take the chance. That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. Where is Garfield? There's Garfield. Okay. Well, we'll take the chance. We'll see what happens. Dan23 says the Enterprise Bridge film has a lot of barcode scanners all over a Dyson hand dryer. Kronos is as far as JJ tracks would go 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, I think that's how I would do them as well. Resolute says all the JJ tracks are equal crap. Actresses and the lens flares, all the lens flares your heart desires. Russier, says Thomas. Russier? I don't know. Kronos says the OG movies are far better. I don't hate JJ's. Captain Trax is Resolute, hi, and yes, all the JJ Rex are crap. Actors is Bird of Prey, Garfield is too much towards the center, and even bigger today. Well, I mean, it's the same as he's been for any of the movies. I don't think I've changed his size, but we'll put Garfield in the pound for today. We'll see what happens. Dan23 says there was a Futurama head in the Jar app which allowed people to make one. Oh, that's cool. I should probably, although I'd have to get rid of, maybe update the old ones. Resolute Germ says, hey to Captain Trek. Kronos is Bird of Prey. I hate Garfield's smug look. Well, he's a cat. He's supposed to have a smug look. Kendrick, Garfield is looking at you, Kronos. Kronos is getting tired. Okay, well, Garfield is gone, so nobody need worry about Garfield anymore. Kronos says the Kelvin is one fugly looking ship. It is. It is. Candace is Bird of Prey. The Narada reminds me of the old Ginzu Knives commercial. Peters is Star Trek 2009. The future begins. John Streets is Bird of Prey. You bastard, evil Kurogan. You said 1 p.m., not 12 p.m. and no notification. I am sorry, Josh Street. I ended up starting earlier because Wesley is going to stream afterwards from his Doctor Who convention he's at near LAX airport. Candace is Bird of Prey, sued for ruining my eyes and ruining my ears. Ruining my eyes with lens flares. Actress is Bird of Prey, stop reading the chat between us. We'll save you time. Yeah. Well, it's hard to tell the chat is between people until I've read it. Kronos says Bird of Prey. Glad to hear about your grandma being out of the hospital. Thank you, Kronos. Peter Quinn says Spock is MIA, presumed dead in Picard. Yeah, I would guess. I would guess he is presumed dead. Daniel's Hot Topics says, Bird of Prey, Spock will return. Interesting. I'm not saying he is. I'm saying I've heard people say that there are rumors that he would return. But that doesn't mean he will return. That's not a spoiler. It is just some people talking about a unsubstantiated rumor. Kronos is Bird of Prey. You know you like the copyright strike. Kronos is Rip Garfield. Kronos is Bird of Prey. I'm reporting you for animal abuse. No, it's not animal abuse. The Continuum says, good evening, Bird of Prey, and Qapla, Qapla. The Continuum. Okay, guys, and Candace, this is where we're going to get started. So, sorry if you have to leave us. But, guys, get ready to hit play in just a few seconds. Let me get my system ready. Okay. So we're going to hit play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Play. There we go. Spyglass Entertainment. And there. Bad robot. You son of a bitch. Chrono says he'll just have to use his imagination. You can watch the screenshots. Number One Sci-Fi says Paramount Studios start copyright now. No. Okay, so we're hearing noises of a spaceship, USS Kelvin. It's got 2 hulls and no warp nacelles. Looks like a lightning storm. Doesn't seem possible. Look at that lens flare. Wow. This is ridiculous. So this guy in blue is the captain? Why isn't he wearing gold? And we see this ridiculous, like, crab coming out of a Stargate, but without the gate. Oh my god, look at that size difference. How do they know that even a ship that advanced, how can they tell that they've got a weapons lock? They don't know what the ship systems are like. I mean, I can barely understand how they can tell that a current ship has a weapons lock. How do you even have warp drive? All power to forward shields. Looks like the ship's already destroyed. Josh Reeds is Bird of Prey. That looks like something you would build in Space Engineers. It does. Oh, my commander requests the presence of your captain to negotiate a ceasefire. Come aboard using a shuttlecraft. To refuse would be unwise. You get the alien look. Alien looking species. Tells that's George Kirk to walk with him. Says if I don't report back in 15 minutes, save the crew. There's no one to help them out here. This is your captain now, Mr. Kirk. And at least why did he take a turbo lift to one floor and then he still got to walk upstairs? But at least these turbo lifts aren't going through big empty areas of the ship. And look at that shuttle bay. It certainly can't fit 500 shuttles. Wow. Wow. Look at all these Bird of Prey 5 comments. Number 1 sci-fi Bird of Prey I can't see because of lens flare. Ah! Kronos says, I don't like the pew-pews, Bird of Prey. Not very phaser-like. Carlos says, Bird of Prey, the phaser ball turrets look really good. Joseph, Bird of Prey, can you do a mirror projection of the screenshot? No copyrights. I did that, Joseph, and they still find it. They've wised up to these copyrights that are, to the screenshots that are mirrored. More than once I've gotten mirrored videos copyrighted, identified in the past 6 months. Johnsby, Bird of Prey, it's funny that Kirk's dad knows the bird maneuver. Carlos says, lol, the screenshot is lens flare. It was. Number 1 sci-fi Bird of Prey, have a bad feeling about the captain. Yeah. Thomas is Bird of Prey. Kirk's father is Thor. Kronos says, bad writing. Oh. It happens. Candace says, see ya. Take care, Candace. Joshua, Bird of Prey, look, the ship has a butthole. Well, so does the regular Enterprise, to be fair. Chemtrax is Bird of Prey, sorry I can't stay. We'll talk with you sometime. Take care, Captain Trek. Hope everything's okay. Why would he say he's unfamiliar with Ambassador Spock? Oh, because of Sarek, isn't it? No, wait. There is no Ambassador Spock. And of course, they had a lock on the captain's vital signs. General Order 13. Oh, he does say get your designated shuttlecraft for evacuation. It's funny. He doesn't say get your designated escape pod. He specifically says get your designated shuttlecraft. So much for my theory. Medical shuttle 37. So if not for all this explosions, they would have made it back to Earth, and little baby James Tiberius Kirk would have been born on Earth in Iowa, as he told the whale lady, Gillian, in Star Trek 4. So, captain tells him to take off immediately without the captain, without Captain Kirk, Captain George Kirk. Sweetheart, I'm not going to be there. This is the only way you'll survive. The shuttles won't make it unless he fights them off. She's literally giving birth as this is happening. Yeah, those are shuttlecraft. Okay, those are not escape pods. Well, he is a hero. He stopped a lot of these ships from getting attacked. Collision course entered. Ominous music. Oh, he hears baby crying over the comm system. It's a boy! Impact alert. That's not good. You could name him after your father. He said, Tiberius. Are you kidding me? No. Josh reaches bird of prey. Kirk's father uses the bird of prey maneuver, ramming a ship into something, hoping it does something. Well, listen. It is an effective move. Yosef says she gave birth in under 15 minutes. She did. She was one of the quickest human births ever recorded. Peter says, you're being monitored, bird of prey. You buffered. You know, I wouldn't be surprised. All that lens flare. Jesus Christ. People. Wasn't even a joke, was it? I mean, I knew it wasn't a joke, but man, the extreme. And now the opening title credits. Star Trek. Dun, 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 dun. Oh. Alright, this scene. Iowa. Just says Iowa. The little car, the kid in the little car racing 80 miles an hour. Once he hits 88 miles an hour, he will travel back in time. So I guess his stepdad was pissed at him. He says, you live in my house, buddy. You get one scratch on that car, and he's going to whoop his ass, which I guess we could all be upset about. Is like, why is he saying ass to a kid? Why is he talking about hurting a child? But on the other hand, if we had a kid or a stepkid who was taking our prize car out, I guess we'd all say the same. To this day, I am not sure if this cop, I assume it's a human, they just decided to go all watchmen on us, and cops now wear masks to protect themselves. But at the time, I just assumed this was some type of like robot cop, like RoboCop cop. Oh, Kirk's gonna jump the canyon. He's gonna jump the canyon. Oh, no, he's not. No, he's not. He's just gonna jump from the car and let it. Wow. Wow. Does Iowa have a Grand Canyon? I mean, does Iowa have a canyon like that? Is there a problem, officer? What's your name? My name is James Tiberius Kirk. And now we see Vulcan. Number one sci-fi says Bird of Prey. They should have named him Bird because Bird Kirk sounds awesome. What is with these holes in the ground that Vulcans study in? How is it logical they put this big dome in the floor instead of building a dome on ground level? Carlos says, how romantic to listen to him dying. Joseph says, you were being monitored by at least 26 people, Bird of Prey. Thomas says, Bird of Prey, Turtistan isn't hacking you, just keep watching. Josh Street says, Bird of Prey, you love JJ for all his lens flares. Not really. Their 35th attempt to get an emotional response from him. Why would he call him a human whore? How is that logical? It's also a little bit weird that Spock can take down another Vulcan twice his size and just beat the crap out of him like he was a superhero with special powers. Number one sci-fi says Bird of Prey, lol at the Corvette going over the cliff scene. Josh Street says Bird of Prey traveling back in time at 88 miles an hour only works when used on a DeLorean. Joseph says Bird of Prey, the cops were human and then JJ decided to put the face digitally. Really? Is that what happened? Josh Street says, no. Thomas is Bird of Prey. It's a mine. Number one sci-fi Bird of Prey. No, Iowa does not have a canyon like that. It's a fake. Joseph says the big quake of 2022 was how Iowa got a canyon. I think it might have been the caucus wars of 2020 when both sides defined the other was cheating. Amanda. Thomas T-Berg says they study in holes so Bird of Prey won't crash into them. Josh Street says Bird of Prey, that is so the teacher could watch to see if they did miss an answer. Really? Number one sci-fi is Bird of Prey. That's because Spock was a Larry Sue. He kind of was in that fight. Oh, Spock got older. I'm still listening. I'm muting the microphone. I am not falling asleep. I will talk again in a minute and a half. So you know, when Spock says, "To which disadvantage do you refer?" Maybe it's because they knew about his space dyslexia. And maybe he thought maybe they meant his space dyslexia instead of him being human. It's just a thought. Budweiser Classics. I guess they had to put that in for using the Budweiser brewery. Number one sci-fi says, "Better pray Kirk being Kirk, trying to hit on every babe in the bar." Josh reads his "Better pray remember to wash your hands when you're done with the Geloja machine." And number one sci-fi says, "I have a bad feeling about Spock's mom." Xenolinguistics means you have a talented tongue. Wow. For a moment there, I thought you were only a dumb hick who only had sex with farm animals. And Kirk says, "Not only farm animals, no." And it's like, "Hey, Townie." He's like, "There's 4 of us and 1 of you." He said, "Then it'll be an even fight." I guess really this kind of killed Starfleet, didn't it? I guess maybe Starfleet was already dead. Horror is like, stop, enough. And Pike shows up, blows his whistle. Oh, the dad did not believe in no-win scenarios. Number one sci-fi says, "Bird of Prey, Kirk was like Anti-Tracker into farm animals." Probably. Oh, his aptitude tests are off the charts. Enlist. Be an officer in 4 years, have your own ship in 8. Riverside Shipyard. The shuttle for new recruits leaves tomorrow. 0900. That's it. That's all you have to do is show up. Pike dares him then to do better than his dad. He's got a little pizza cutter or something. But that's not really what his dad's ship looked like. Miss Londell says, isn't she kind of young to be Spock's mom? Don't pay any attention to that, Mr. Londell. Kirk drives up in his motorcycle, just driving through the shipyard. Nobody gives a shit that he's on a motorcycle. Didn't have to show any ID, didn't have to answer any questions. But Pike hears the motorcycle pull-ups, sees Kirk get off. Guy says, nice ride. He just throws the keys to him. He says, it's yours. And Kirk tells Pike, 4 years, I'll do it in 3. And he promptly hits his head on a beam. And the guys that beat him up last night, Kirk says at ease to them. And Kirk is trying to figure out how to put on the seatbelt. Says Uhura. So some woman is yelling at Dr. McCoy. Says he fears some type of dying. Needs to be out of the bathroom. Bones is saying that there's Andorian shingles, there's solar flares, there's lots of things that could kill people in space. So his ex-wife took everything in divorce. All he was left with was his bones, so that's why he's called Bones. And Kirk introduces himself, and we meet that it's actually Leonard McCoy. Carlos's bird of prey, why doesn't he heal his face? I guess he didn't have time. Number one sci-fi says, of course, Kirk makes captain under 2 hours. Yeah. Joseph says you had a bar fight on K9, remember? Yeah, but that was among Klingons. These are among humans. Surf Trictronics says Kirk should have given his motorcycle to his brother. He probably doesn't want and probably hates his brother. Thomas's bird of prey always thought it was Starfleet. Had a limit to cadets each year, like the TNG episode. Well, at this time, Starfleet was trying to accept everybody. Thomas's bird of prey always thought it was the same. I read that. Kronos' bird of prey, did you call Uhura? No, I called her Uhura. Carlos says, that ship's been doing for 3 years something about a Klingon prison. Joseph's bird of prey among Klingons and Enterprise officers. Number one, sci-fi's bird of prey, who makes Star Trek lens flare again, is JJ's logo. So Kirk says he's got to go study for the Kobayashi Maru. Oh, and a green lady is saying she thinks she loves him. He said, that's so weird. He says, he can't see you, just hide. She's like, why? Because I'll stop bringing guys to the room. Kirk's like, how many guys have you brought back? They picked up a admission from the Klingon prison planet. 47 Klingon ships destroyed. So Kirk held all that went on. And now we're at the Kobayashi Maru. So I think Bones said that 2 Klingon battle cruisers have aimed weapons at him. Kirk says, don't worry about it. Uh-oh. So they're saying, should we fire back? Now the whole simulation ends, and it reboots. So Kirk says, fire on one ship, one torpedo each. Let's not waste any ammunition. So Kirk is eating an apple. He managed to destroy all enemy ships. No one was injured. And the rescue of the Kobayashi Maru is underway. He takes a bite from the apple. And Pike looks at Spock and is like, how the hell did he beat your test? Spock's like, I don't know. But he's going to look into it. And calling James T. Kirk forward. Saying, you violated the ethical code of conduct. Is there anything you care to say before you begin? He has the right to face his accuser directly. He tells Spock to step forward. Mrs. Antitrekker, hello. Says, I'm just popping in to say hi and give you a like. Well, thank you, Mrs. Antitrekker. Carlos's vertebrae, are you okay? You've been quiet for a long time. I might have been napping, Carlo. So, Kirk is saying that this test is a cheat. He says he doesn't believe in the no-win scenario. So Spock says, you of all people should know that you cannot cheat death. Your father, Captain George Kirk, assumed command. Said you've failed to And he said, Spock said the purpose was to have fear in the face of certain death, to have comfort in it, to have control of it. Well, who the hell would be fully scared in a hologram? Especially assuming the hologram safeties haven't been turned off. Joseph's is royalty in the house. Yes, Mrs. Anti-Trekker. Kirk asks who was that pointy-eared bastard, and McCoy says he doesn't know, but he likes him. Then they got the emergency call that they've got to head to Vulcan because the main fleet's all too far away. So he's saying you didn't call his name. They didn't call his name. They're saying that he's inactive. McCoy says the board will rule in his favor, most likely. But for now, he's got to go. McCoy's having second thoughts about leaving Kirk. Says, come with him. I'm like, where are we going? You'll see, says. Mrs. Anti-Trekker says, I hope you're all well. I'm in the middle of making a triple fudge brownies. Have fun. Bye. Take care, Mrs. Anti-Trekker. So Uhura is pissed that Kirk avoided the fairness, and Uhura's like, I just want my shift on my place to be on the Enterprise. He's giving Kirk an infection. So McCoy is saying that he's in charge. Carlos is sorry. Gotta have a wonderful evening, Bird of Prey, Mama Prey, and everyone else here. Well, thank you, Carlo. Take care. Oh. Kirk is saying he might throw up on O'Brien. Jesus. On McCoy. No, McCoy's all okay in a shuttle now. Tells Kirk to look at this, and they lay their first eyes on the Enterprise. I hate how small those shuttle bays look. Like, they should be bigger. They should be a lot bigger, in my opinion. Kirk doesn't feel like. He feels like he's leaking. McCoy blames Spock. Oh, so they have glass turbolifts now? Moorings retracted. They're ready to go. Set course for Vulcan. And it's the young Aquara Sulu. Pike says, punch it! And all the other ships warp away. But not the D. Not the Enterprise. Sulu's looking around. Everybody's looking at Sulu. The right person wasn't supposed to report already. Was supposed to report, but couldn't. Spock says that he disengaged the external inertial dampeners, and Sulu knew immediately that was the problem. They're now ready for war. They're asking for their names, and it's Chekhov. Pike wants a ship-wide broadcast. Ensign Victor. So the planet's been experiencing seismic activity. We should be getting to Vulcan within about 3 minutes. Lightning storm in space. That gets Kirk. It gets Kirk all interested. He's got to get to the bridge. Kirk is like, stop it, to McCoy. Like, oh my God, Kirk's hands has gigantism. So they got there, and there's this thing just firing this wall of fire into the planet. Seven Federation ships have been detected by Nero. So Spock is saying that Mr. Kirk isn't supposed to be aboard the vessel. Kirk is like he's trying to save the bridge. So the Kelvin attack is placed on the edge of 7 space. Did I fall asleep again? Wake up, bird. Okay, you don't need to phone in. Hello. I might have dozed again. The movie's not as interesting. Thank you. Kronos says, wake up. Strong Raven says, Bird of Prey is a coronavirus victim. Kronos says, I think that Bird of Prey went sleepies. Oh, man. Oh. Continuum says, we love you, Bird. Thank you. Thank you. Actor says, we need more explosions. Actor says, oh, he's back. Sleep stream. Market Macker 2009 as a sleep aid. So you don't have transporters. Kirk, Spock, and Engineer Olsen will space jump from the shuttle. Who do you think's not coming back? Mr. Spock, Kirk, or Engineer Olsen? Oh, and Sulu. Spock, Kirk, Sulu, and Engineer Olsen. So, Pike promoted Kirk to first officer and Spock to captain. Spock's like, the complexity of human pranks escapes me. Dr. Perry's dead. So Dr. McCoy is now Chief Medical Officer. Yeah, Surf, I was. Kenowix's bird needs a chat-controlled vibrating chair so I can wake him up. No, I don't have the red shirt on yet. I've just got my hospital gown on, truth be told. No electrical shock bed. Well, listen, you guys can stream for me. Right? Anti-Trekker has people putting up videos for him. I'll have you guys just stream for me. They're approaching a drop zone. And it just went completely silent because they're falling through space, I assume. Just hear the breathing from within the suits. Very convenient that the drill disrupts transporters. They're entering the atmosphere, sir. 20,000 meters. See, if it was me, I would have just rammed the Enterprise into that ship and destroyed the drill. Now, maybe the Enterprise would have been destroyed, but hey, we would have saved all of Vulcan. Right? You would have saved all of Vulcan. It's a small price to pay. The crew of one ship to save an entire planet. Number one sci-fi says you need to give us access to the stream for you. Tom's a bird of prey. Lucky for you, we can't record your sleep without a camera. And Daniel's hot dog's bird of prey. I got a bad feeling about Engineer Olson. Yeah, Daniel, me too. Actress is bird of prey. You should tell Mama Prey to check on you every 10 minutes on Sinema Saturday.
I was downstairs.
Mama Prey was downstairs. She was doing laundry. Good point, says Kennewick. Lose 400, Starfleet or Vulcan. And then actress says deploy second drill. I guess that could happen. Okay, this time the microphone was off. Didn't fall back asleep. Maybe they should have brought more than one phaser. You know. Well, that was mighty lucky. Folding sword. I don't know if I like that. I guess Romulans do have a history with fighting swords. Battle axes or whatever. Sci-Fi says, whoa, what happens if you croak while she's downstairs? I guess it's going to be quiet for a while. Number one Sci-Fi. See, number one Sci-Fi, now you've upset Mama Prey. Now she's not even going to go downstairs. I'm not croaking. Kennewick says, subvert my expectations and have Olsen live. Oh, and he had the charges. The Karoga solution. Just start shooting at it. Number one Sci-Fi says, bird of prey. Install some cameras in your house so that Mama Prey can keep an eye on you for all of our safety. Oh, that's right. Sassy's up here. Sassy would have barked if anything was wrong. And she really does. Like if I yell for Mama Prey, she will start barking like crazy till Mama Prey comes up. They just launched something at the planet. Everything is going crazy. They're creating a singularity. It will consume the planet. They're creating a black hole at the center of Vulcan. Minutes. How long does the planet have? Minutes. Well, why not just create the black hole on the surface of Vulcan? Would it have been any less destructive? Spock's got to go get his parents. They can't be beamed out. Chekhov has the con. Kirk says, let's beam out. And Nero says, retract the drill. The lady can't lock on. She says, don't move, don't move. And now Kirk jumps after Sulu because he has a parachute and Sulu doesn't. Kirk catches Sulu in midair. And they pull the parachute, but because of weight, it falls right off. I mean, come on, that engineering is terrible, that it can't hold the weight of 2 cadets. So the lady is incapable of beaming him up out, but Chekhov can do it. So he runs to the transporter room. He can lock on to people moving while transporting. And like, beam us up, beam us up. Now, do it now. Wait, was that Vasquez Rocks? Did you see Rafi's house? It's a good thing that the transporter stops 99% of momentum. Number 1 sci-fi bird of prey, I just want to make sure you have safety comes first and have backup plans. Thank you. We're okay. Saying number 1 sci-fi. She also has an intercom on her all the time. So Spock is going to beam down in the sitting position. What's the logic in creating giant statues? I mean, is there logic? Is that not just a vanity project? Joseph says if the law of conservation of energy worked, they would be dead as they hit the transporter platform. But that's the thing. When they transport, it could lose all momentum. And the slowest transport in history, and they lost. Where would she have beamed to? Spock was on the front of the transporter pad. Where would she have beamed to? Poor Sarek. Time for another human bride, Sarek. Don't worry, there's plenty of them on Earth still. Captain Trax says hello again. Welcome. Number 1 sci-fi says that was Vasquez Rocks. And there goes Vulcan. Imploded. They've had no contact from Captain Pike. Nero's destroyed Vulcan and most of its 6 billion inhabitants. The essence has been saved. Spock estimates no more than 10,000 Vulcans now survive. He's now a member of an endangered species, though you're not really the species. You're only half the species, Spock. So they probably wouldn't want you in the breeding pool. Just saying. If they want to really save the species, you're going to have you'd contaminate it. And Uhura comes in to comfort her boyfriend. She's sorry. I'll manage to stay awake while you go outside with Sassy, Mama Pray. I hope. Yes, the kisses make it all better. Your entire planet's been destroyed. They were all dicks to you anyway, Spock. They got what was coming to them. Number one sci-fi's is Bird of Prey. I always think of the Soundgarden song Black Hole Sun when I see Vulcan go. I've never heard of the song, so I can't say I think of it. Joseph says, Alexa, set alarm for 5-minute intervals.
I was thinking of that.
Nero wants all security secrets. He says where he came from, this is a simple mining vessel. He's preventing. Hasn't happened. He says, I saw it happen. I watched it happen. Don't tell me it didn't happen. He promised retribution. His problem is not to avoid the destruction, but to create a Romulus that exists free of the Federation. Only then will she be truly saved. So he's going to destroy all remaining Federation worlds. Isn't that a little overkill? Maybe if you just destroyed a couple, the rest would fall in line. How did he even get that thing? There is no route from the brain stem, from the mouth to the brain stem. Spock tells Kirk to get out of the chair. Damn it, ma'am, I'm a doctor, not a physicist. Are you suggesting they're time traveling? Sci-fi, it's not popcorn. It's Chex Mix. Actor says, why didn't you warn Romulus? Yeah, he should be sending a coded message to Romulus. Thomas says, Bird of Prey maybe an eBay or Amazon. What? So many lens flares. Yes, Robert. Pretty heavy scene. Legit. That's a bit ridiculous. Oh, get him off this ship. Well, that's not good. Biggest coincidence in the movie. We just happened to ship him. Doesn't look Class M. Number one sci-fi says, Anti-Tracker, good afternoon. Bird of Prey fell asleep again during this stream. Anti-Tracker says, Bird of Prey is eating fries. No, I'm not. Peter says, Will Wheaton provides the voice for most of the unnamed Romulans. Really? Yeah, let's just maroon him on a planet with giant deadly animals and freezing cold temperatures. Because that's logical. Snow spiders. Number one sci-fi, your stream title, I believe, is one day old now. What'd I do wrong with the title? Sinema Saturday, aka Sinema. Star Trek Sad Day, aka Sinema Saturday. Why is that old? Today is Sad Day, right? Yeah, yesterday was Friday. Today's Saturday. And the trigger says, lol, hey, 'tis all par for the cost. Just like how this live stream is called Bed Life Cancel Valentine's Day. This stream shouldn't be called Cancel Valentine's Day. This stream should be called... That's not the name of the stream, says Anti-Trekker? Okay, well then... YouTube started the wrong one. I'll have to fix it. I believe them. It's definitely something YouTube would do. I have to fix it when it's over. I guess I could fix it now. Spock! Yeah, Pike was taken by Nero. Look at that, huh? Okay, let's go to open a new tab. We go to a star will explode and threaten to destroy the galaxy. A star went supernova. He promised the Romulans he'd save their planet. He completely ignores everything Picard did. The unthinkable. The supernova destroyed Romulus. He still shot the red matter into the supernova. Okay, so we go to YouTube Studio. Videos. Live. Huh, this is ridiculous. It clearly says, oh, there, huh. Okay. Star Trek. Saturday, it completely ignored, it lost all my set changes. Star Trek 2009. Oh man, all my tags are gone. Nero was waiting for him. It got the thumbnail. Why would it get the thumbnail? Oh, and it got the thumbnail and it did get the tags, but it didn't get the title or the description. Huh. Star Trek. Star Trek 2009. More options. What about the date? The recording date. That it got. the time, okay, all that's good. Where he came from, yes, he knew of your father. He proudly lived to see you become captain of the Enterprise. I'm not sleeping. I'm trying to type in the new description. I had such a good description the first time. A stallion must first be broken. There we go. Now we got a crappy description, but at least it's accurate. It's no longer cancel Valentine's Day. Hopefully, it will update. Eventually. Thomas's mind says Sinema Saturday. It always looked like that for Thomas. That's really weird. Thank you, Thomas. Huh. Number one sci-fi. This bird of prey, Spock says, I am not our father at the end. Thomas is bird of prey. The title for me, at least, has been Sinema Saturday the entire time. Number one sci-fi is bird of prey, so the Romulans would be more upset with Spock rather than Picard. Peter says, cancel Valentine's Day, bird of prey. Why Valen was great. Chronos says, bird of prey, what's more powerful, a supernova or a supernover? Oh, it's Scotty. Punishment. Something that was clearly an accident. Shut up. You don't eat anything. You can eat like a pea. He wants food. Real food. Oh, the Mr. Scott who postulated the theory of transwarp beaming. Transporting was never limited to 100 miles. Jesus Christ, they transported all over planets. Oh, the Archer's prize-winning beagle disappeared. It never reappeared. Poor Porthos. Miss Lodell says, see how nothing lines up with the schlock henceforth called Picard. See how utterly stupid the supernova excuse really is now. Well, I've always known it didn't line up. Red alert! Qapla says, when I was 8 years old, I saw this in theaters and I knew nothing of Trek. My father took me to see it. When I saw the bald captain die in the intro of the movie, I thought it was Picard. I could understand that, Red Alert. I completely can. Number one sci-fi says, yay, it's fixed. It's updated for Kronos 2. Indie Tiger says, hello, Bird of Prey and others. Qapla, Indie Tiger. And Thomas says, Bird of Prey, this is not Scotty. It's like trying to shoot a bullet with a smaller bullet while riding a horse. Mamo Prey's updated too. So Spock won't come with him, and he can't tell the other Spock that he exists. Only Spock can tell other Spock that he exists. He's emotionally compromised, all right. And Kirk says coming back in time, changing history is cheating. And Spock says a trick I learned from an old friend. So they beam aboard. Where's Mr. Scott? Uh-oh. They're looking for him. Hang on a second. I had to pause the one on the screen a little because my version that's playing got a little ahead. It's the same file, but it just, I don't know. It's weird. There we go. He's out. Good thing they have a release valve. Bring up the video. Set phasers to stun. Oh, there, Cupcake. How did you beam aboard this ship? As acting captain, I order you. Scotty'd rather not take sides. You never loved her. Wow. Spock's beating the crap out of Kirk. Strangle him. Sarek stepped in. Number one sci-fi says Bird of Prey. Too bad this is the last time the real Spock, Leonard Nimoy, will appear in flesh on Star Trek. Well, I mean, I guess you mean in flesh, meaning he's in the scene. In Beyond, he's on, but he's on the screen. But what's the real difference? I mean, either way, he's on a screen. So I would say the next movie counts as the last time. Number one sci-fi says it's Susan B. Anthony's 200th birthday today. A happy birthday, Susan B. Anthony. We used to use your dollars, and then we stopped. Wesley says, Bird of Prey, are you still awake? I am, Wes. Hopefully you can hear me. Are you guys not able to hear me? Number one sci-fi Bird of Prey, Sonic the Hedgehog is the number one movie in this weekend. Very cool. I mean, I don't really think I'm going to watch it. Maybe once it comes to, Netflix or something, but I'm glad it's doing well because they respected the audience and the fans. Wesley says, Bird of Prey, are you sleep talking again? So you can hear me, you just don't think I'm making sense. Actor says if Bloomberg is 1/10 the climber that Kirk is, he will be president before the elections. Bloomberg? What climber? I don't know what that means. So Kirk has taken command. Kirk out. I understand Bloomberg, but I don't understand what you mean by a climber. Oh, you mean like you think his numbers are going to climb as good as Kirk's? Bloomberg, unfortunately, is going to hit a wall. I don't want to get into politics, but already has come up that Bloomberg has defended stop and frisk policing, which I don't have a problem with, but a lot of Democrats do. And he's also has a long history of being a toxic male. So again, and he was a Republican for a while. Now, I don't have a problem with him being a toxic male. I don't have a problem with him doing stop and frisk policing. But he also is very anti-gun and some other things that I do have a problem with. Unfortunately, had he run as a Republican, he might have got the nomination in 2024. I highly doubt he can get the nomination as a Democrat. Maybe he has a plan to buy it, but that's all. I honestly, without getting political, I honestly don't think Bloomberg can win the nomination. And even if he won the nomination, I don't know if he could win the presidency. I guess he could, but I doubt it. So Kirk won't allow Spock to go over the ship, but Spock says that Romulans share a similar ancestor, so make it easier for him to adapt to the ship, and Kirk's going to go with him. I would cite regulation, but I know you would simply ignore it. See, we are getting to know each other. Kronos feels like being a toxic male. You can, Kronos. Nobody's stopping you. Well, I mean, as long as you don't go too toxic. Prepare the drill. See, now Nero's being a toxic male. How do you get into Earth orbit with nobody attacking you? Nothing shooting at you? Stop. Sure, yeah, we'll welcome this giant alien spaceship above the planet. Nobody's firing phasers at them from the ground or from ships. I mean, no one person is even going to fly a shuttle in a suicide mission to stop this guy. They know why he's there. Think of all the ships that have to be on Earth. Okay, 100 of them could fly up and just destroy this ship. Huh? Then there wouldn't be a movie, yeah. So Kirk tells Sulu, whatever happens, if he thinks he has a tactical advantage, he fires on that ship even if they're still on board. And now Kirk, for the first time, realizes Uhura is a thing with Spock. Hector says, Bird of Prey, your house is a lot more protected than Earth. It would seem. Number 1 Sci-Fi's Bird of Prey 7 of 9 is affiliated with the Ferris Rangers, so everyone is complaining that it sounds similar to the Rangers from J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. Well, it kinda does. Peter says, curse you. Wouldn't have been a problem with stop and search, Bird of Prey, 'cause you own the police. Of course I wouldn't. So they beamed on, and now all shit's gone to hell. All shit's gone to hell? No. It's all gone to shit on Nero's ship. People are firing everywhere. They were not expecting anybody to beam on. Indy Tiger says, so if everyone could just write my name in for president, that'd be great. Number 1 Sci-Fi puts in tries to put in a link, but doesn't put in the HTTP. OurStory.com 2020. Star Trek Picard borrows one incredible concept from Lord of the Rings. The problem is I don't know Lord of the Rings because I've never seen Lord of the Rings. I walked out of the first movie. So I'm no one. I can't be one to really do a Lord of the Rings comparison. Actress says Rios dresses as a pimp. Picard goes as a pirate. Yeah. He knows where the black hole device is and Captain Pike. Well, at least they're drilling over San Francisco. I mean, imagine if he had just started drilling in the middle of the Pacific Ocean and nobody noticed it was even happening. Let's drill right next to Starfleet headquarters. So all of Starfleet knows that I'm up here. Kronos says walked out unsubbing. I did. Canowick says here's a Picard spoiler from last July. After seeing Picard, I think it was a real early draft. Peter says, what? You walked out of Lord of the Rings? Were you drunk? No, Peter. I was incredibly bored. I was seeing all these freaking ugly people with big hairy feet doing nothing but talking and walking. And I was like, this is not for me. And my friend watched when I left and played video games. I played for like an hour and a half, thought the movie would be over, and found there was another hour plus left of the movie. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. Well, I opened that Picard spoiler, but I'll have to read it later, obviously. I can't do that during the movie. Actor says, remember, Peter, he's a Star Trek geek, not a nerd. What? Actor, I'm definitely count as a nerd, okay? Math and science and all those real subjects. Mamo Prey attests as well. I just don't like Lord of the Rings or Doctor Who. Peter says, man, what have you read? No, I haven't read the books, Peter. Peter Quinn says, Ut's not all boobs and gins, bird of prey. Kronos would call me a spaz. Wow. Yosef with a €2 super chat. We must have Lord of the Rings Saturdays. Mistakes must be fixed. Not on this channel, Yosef. Not on this channel. But thank you for the super chat. Thomas says boycott Bird of Prey until he sees Lord of the Rings. Oh, I would totally sleep through it. I mean, if you want me to put it on one Saturday and just show you screenshots every 10 seconds while I take a 2.5 hour nap, we could do that. But I'm still not going to watch it. Peter Quinn says, get the audiobooks then, Bird of Prey. I mean, boobs and guns. Well, I don't want to listen to the audiobooks. It's going to be hours of listening to a story I don't give a shit about. Right now, there's no period in the day that I am not either watching television or listening to somebody on YouTube in the background. There's simply no time to start adding books. If I added books, I'd have to stop watching something or stop listening to someone on YouTube. Thomas's Bird of Prey, you don't have to watch it all in one day, but then it would take twice as long to watch it. Nero's pissed. His drill fell into the ocean. Almost hit the Golden Gate Bridge. He's yelling for Spock. He confiscates the illegal ship. And he's like, take out that ship. And the other guy's like, if you ignite the red matter. And Spock takes off at warp. Nero says, go after him. There is no way that ship should be able to catch up with the jellyfish. Kirk does an incredible jump. Peter Quinn says, I make time for podcasts and audiobooks, Bird of Prey. Listen when I'm traveling. Well, I don't travel. If I did, I could listen. Daniel's Hot Topics is Bird of Prey. Star Trek is real. It's just real in parallel universe. I'm not sure which universe that would be. True, the landing was more incredible than the jump. Fire everything! If the ship is hit, the red igniter will be ignited. But what, if the ship just crashes, it won't be ignited? Oh, pew pew pew, pew pew pew. Enterprise is unloading. Good shooting, Pike. So Spock would have just been in that ship. Look, that little jellyfish ship flying into that ship is able to destroy the ship. Almost. They're losing power. Kirk says, hail them. Yeah. The red matter is detonating. I would rather suffer the death of Romulus 1,000 times. I'd rather die in agony than accept assistance from you. Kirk's like, you got it. Even Spock was like, what the hell you doing there, Jim? Of course, apparently red matter opens a hole not only in space, but also in time. So is it not possible that this ship lands somewhere else in time? Now, it could create yet another parallel dimension or universe, or maybe it winds back up somewhere in the Picard timeline. And they find the remnants of the ship, and they look at the logs, and they see Spock indeed was alive. And then they know that there's a second universe, and they find a way to communicate with it. And then they find a way to destroy it. Because it was never supposed to be. Surf says, Bird of Prey, that much red matter should have collapsed the entire Sol system into a supermassive black hole. Stop using logic, Surf. Peter Quinn says it broke up. But still, the pieces have to go somewhere. The pieces don't just evaporate. Oh, maybe they do. It was a pretty big explosion. Bird is in delirium. Actor, you say not even subatomic particles survive, but the only way that they got to this timeline was if they survived going through the exact same type of singularity. Oh. Young Spock says, Father, and old Spock says, I am not our father. There are so few. There are so few Vulcans left, we cannot afford to ignore each other. So then why did you send Kirk aboard? Because you needed each other. Nah, he lied. No, I implied. It's only logical he resigns his commission and help rebuild the race, which means getting busy. But he said, no, you've got to stay on board the Enterprise. Peter Quinn says, how about Bright Bird of Prey? That's a good Will Smith. That's a good film with Will Smith. Bright? I don't think I've even heard of Bright. Actresses, you can carefully write an event horizon. Nerd. That's if you can carefully ride the event horizon, nerd, yeah. You have to put a question mark. James Tiberius Kirk. Now, instead of being kicked out, he's gonna get accommodation. You are hereby ordered to report to Admiral Pike, USS Enterprise, for duty as released. And there we see Pike in a wheelchair. I relieve you, sir. And Pike is relieved. Your father would be proud. Peter Quinn says Bright is on Netflix. I will put it on the very, very, very long list, Peter. I mean, Will Smith is not one of my favorite actors that I bumped to the top to see. Are you saying it's a hidden gem? I tell you what I'll do. I will look at the YouTube trailer for it and see what it looks like. No promises. Actress is a real nerd would know how to use the black hole to travel, indeed. He is. He has become the first officer. Take us out. And now Spock does the space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Her ongoing mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life forms and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before. Directed by J.J. Abrams. It's the original TOS. It's the original TOS ending credits music. I forgot about that. Do we see the green alien? Dun 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 dun. Oh, okay. The music changes now because they have more people to talk about than in the regular TV show. Robert Hammer yells, Kurtzman! Actor says, or until we can get funding for the fourth one. Actor says, and we have a franchise for years and years and years, right? Indie Tiger says the singularity needs to be on the inside of the Romulan ship, not the outside, in order to travel with it. Well, that's one type of singularity for sure. Okay, guys. Well, I think we're going to call it a day because I guess I was tired. Wesley, if you're here if you're going to stream, I will be on the lookout for it, man. Otherwise, guys, have a good day. Qapla, and take